All right, welcome everybody. Give yourself a hand for showing up. Yay! This is the first annual Speak Up for Chiropractic. You know, the last 6 months have been kind of rough on this world, on this country, on individuals, on this state. And we've watched social media, TV, everybody have something to say. Everybody have their opinion to say. And so I had messaged some of my friends. I said, hey, did you see the video when the chiropractor stood up and talked about what we've been doing for over 100 years? And they said, no. I said, neither had I. So, out of obedience to God, I'm showing up and we have something to say. I've got powerful doctors that have been serving thousands of patients over the last 17 to 20 years. And so we're going to have fun today. Everybody say Yahoo. Yahoo! We're going to create great content to share with the world, and we're going to have fun. My name is Dr. Joseph Arve. I've been in practice here in Northglenn, Colorado since 1992. And again, this has been my domain, my vicinity, and today all we want to do is simply put out good news, put out good vibes. Instead of telling you how bad things are, let me tell you how good things are. Let me tell you, we know what the last 100 years look like, but what are the next 100 years going to look like for you and for our children and for our grandchildren? Like that song, The Blessing, right? Over you and over your family and their children and their children. But we got to give you some good news and some hope, because what you see out there sometimes is confusing as far as what this world's going to look like when it comes to a health and healing situation. So I've got good news for you. Everybody say good news. Good news. That our first speaker, Dr. Tim Cummings, has been in practice in Colorado for over 20 years. He has helped thousands of people get their life back on track. He helps get sick people well and keeps well people from getting sick without the use of medication, without the use of vaccines, without the use of surgery. He has seen miracles literally every day in his practice, and he's such a powerful force. Everybody give Dr. Tim Cummings from Royal, Colorado a big hand. That's Dr. Herb. There you go. All right, buddy, go get him.
All right, welcome. Thanks, Dr. Joe. We're talking about censorship here, and one of the things that really struck me when Dr. Joe brought this up was just the fact that chiropractic has been doing something different since 1895. And it's been since 1895 that censorship has been going on. And so I wanted to read a quote here from BJ. It said, while other professions are concerned with changing the environment to suit the weakened body, chiropractic is concerned with strengthening the body to suit the environment. And how powerful and how different is that than what we see today? In our world, we're sanitizing everything, we're antibioticing everything, we're spraying things, we're doing everything we can, because why? Because our bodies have been weakened, and it's been weakened because of all of those things that we're doing. And in chiropractic, our foundation says by removing interference, by doing adjustments, by allowing innate intelligence that's in all of us to express itself properly, it has given us the ability to thrive in these environments. And how many of you would rather have confidence in knowing that that power that God put inside of all of us is stronger than any invader that's outside of us? Okay? And so another quote says, have you more faith in a spoonful of medicine than the power that animates the living world? Okay? And the thing is that when we were formed in the womb and when we were born, that power didn't leave us. It's not like that innate intelligence is with us all the time, and its job is simply to bring that healing power in and through you on a day-to-day basis. And just to kind of go through some of the history, medicine was very crafty back in the 1800s when they formed the AMA, and they very quickly created an illusion that they were 100% scientific based. And back in that time, they had no science either, but they convinced everybody that they were the way. And anybody who spoke against them or did things differently was quackery. They were outside of that norm, and that's not okay, because we know that anytime science is based off challenges, we got to challenge the theory to see if the theory's true. And when we just try to say the science is settled on things, there's no such thing as settled science, right? There's always new discoveries, there's always new things coming, and the thing is that we cannot quantify or contain what innate intelligence does for the body. It's impossible. It's an invisible force that's in all of us that animates our world. And from the very beginning, when the AMA did that, they started off with a when chiropractic started in 1895, they started off at the very beginning understanding that we were a direct threat to their model. And that model of drugs and surgery and those types of treatments is what they're predicated on. And if you've been to chiropractic and the patients that are here, for those that have experienced the power of healing inside of you, you understand something different. You understand that power, that it doesn't need drugs and surgery, that your body has that healing ability in it. It has interference. And we have found that interference comes in the form of neurological interference. It could be in nutritional interference. It could be toxicity. There's so many factors that will bring your health down. And our goal is just to simply help you remove that interference so that your body can thrive. And it started way back. You know, we've all heard of the germ theory versus the terrain theory. Well, not too many people have heard of the terrain theory, even though that's the one that's actually correct. And that's because Louis Pasteur, back in the 1800s, he won out. And the reason why his idea won out is it aligned within that medical model, that we needed to give antibiotics, we needed to clear the environment so that this weakened body still has a shot to survive. Now, understand one thing. There is some truth behind bacteria and viruses are causing some problems, right? But the thing is it doesn't cause problems with everybody. One of the other things that drove BJ and Dee Dee at the very beginning is that I decided to know why one person was ailing and his associate eating at the same table, working in the same shop, and at the same bench was not. How does that happen? Why does one person get sick and the other person doesn't? And it has to do with the terrain. And Beauchamp, who was the antithesis of Pasteur, said, listen, if you're a healthy person, and you guys, COVID-19 has been that's just another example, because who's struggling with this? We know people that get it have tested positive and they didn't even have a single symptom. Right. They felt nothing. And then we unfortunately have the other end of the spectrum where somebody got it and it overcame them and they died, right? And so what did we learn? We learned that strong people are harder to kill. That's right. Right? Is that true? Yeah. And so my challenge to every one of you is to find out exactly what are you doing today that's making your body stronger, so that whatever comes along, your body has the ability to overcome it, right? Are you doing something today? Most people aren't. Just the people that are standing here right now, you guys are doing something today because you're here, right? You're here to learn. You're saying, hey, what can I do to improve my body, my physiology? What can I do to make myself stronger? Because guess what? After coronavirus, quote unquote, goes away, then guess what? What's going to happen in the next year or two? We're going to have another one, right? The history shows us that. How many we've had? We've had 10 in the last 20 years. And so there's going to be another invader. And so my question for you is, what are you doing today to strengthen your body so that whenever that next event happens, whenever that next super bug comes along, your body's going to just laugh at it and say, I don't have to live in fear. I don't have to run and hide. I don't have to do those things because I know my body has that innate intelligence inside of it that's kept it so powerful that it's allowed me to thrive. It's allowed my family to thrive. And just like Dr. Joe's talking about the blessing song, it doesn't end with us, right? It ends us with our children and our children's children. Are we setting the example for them? Most of us, people will blame things on genetics. They blame it on all of these different things. And the bottom line, guy, is that it has nothing to do with it. It's about that expression. And that expression is controlled by your innate. And that innate intelligence is what's going to help us stay strong in the worst circumstances and the worst situations. And so I want to leave you guys today with just that basic understanding that it's about the terrain. The terrain. You keep your terrain strong, invaders can't live. Okay? The bugs can't invade, they cannot take over you, and your body's going to have the ability to heal from that no matter what we throw at it. Okay? And so if we can, thank you, but I'm going to introduce Dr. Kevin next. Okay? Okay.
All right, give him a hand. Very good, very good, very good. I'm going to double mic. Can I do this? Okay, good. So again, give him a hand for Dr. Tim. Yes. Woo. Again, the reason why I love Dr. Tim so much, one of the most powerful, day in and day out, 20 years. If you walk up to a coffee shop or a restaurant, and you talk to Dr. Tim, that's what you get. The most consistent and loving and caring man, day in and day out. And the truth that he brought is what we want to continue to instill. So our next speaker, Dr. Kevin Knopfsinger from Aurora, Colorado, again, has been in practice over 17 years, has an amazing family, has helped thousands of people all around the world. Both these doctors have traveled all around the world with Olympic teams and with the Colorado Rapids, helped them win a championship. These aren't guys that just sit and stand in their office and take care of back pain. These are guys who are world changers that have been around. You've been to Africa, right? Did you go to Africa? So Dr. Kevin, there's an AIDS crisis back in 2008, 2011. We went to Africa to help get sick people well. Well, again, without the use of medicine, without the use of surgery, without the use of vaccines. That's all for crisis. Once the building's on fire, you need that help. But to prevent that fire from happening and keep that body strong, that's what the power of chiropractic can deliver. And so I want to introduce right now Dr. Kevin Nossinger from Aurora, Colorado, one of the most powerful chiropractor in the world. Everybody give him a hand. Leave your shirt on. Okay.
I think they all heard that. I think so.
There you go.
He just told me to keep it on.
Amen. Give me a hand.
As I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you guys today, just in the power of chiropractic and it being positive, is my story and then my family story. And I want everyone to be very clear about this. I grew up in a very medicalized family where we went to doctor's visits. We did what they told us to do. And there was a point in time, I believe I was around 1 or 2 years old, and I was being changed, or my mom looked away and she was changing my diaper, and I fell off of the changing table onto my head. Little did I know that small little fall, which my mom thought I was okay. I wasn't bleeding. I was crying, but the crying stopped. But unfortunately, my health problems did not stop from there. And by the time I was 8 years old, I kept getting strep throat about once a month. And so I was on antibiotics every single month for strep throat. That led to migraine headaches, and I started getting migraine headaches. By the time I was 12 years old, I was in and out of doctors' offices virtually every single month. And the one thing that they had for me was drugs, and the last thing that they were going to do for me was surgery. There was one of my parents' friends heard a prayer chain because we got some really bad news from a neurologist about my migraine headaches and about how healthy I was. So my mom and my dad put on the prayer chain, please pray for my son because he needs help. And we don't like what the doctor said. And thank God every single day that this lady called my parents and said, I think there's a different way and I think there is help for your son. And when she did, my mom, being the loving, caring mom that she is, she just wanted me to experience a life of health and happiness and to be able to do the things that all kids should be able to do, which is running and playing. Because that was not my story. I had to stay home. I missed a lot of school. I was not able to play with a lot of my friends. I was not able to do the things that I wanted to do. And my mom that broke her heart because I had to stay home or I wasn't able to go out and play with my friends. But my miracle started when I walked into this doctor's office. It didn't look like any of the doctor's offices that I went to. People were smiling. The people that greeted me there were excited and happy to see me. They knew my name. They gave me hugs. They gave my mom hugs. They welcomed us into this office. And I knew something was different about this place. When I met Dr. Kimmel, he looked me in the eye and he said these words that changed my life forever. He said, Kevin, I'm not looking for what's wrong with you. I'm looking for what's right with you and why it's not being able to do exactly what it's supposed to do. And he said, come with me. And he walked out and there was a bunch of people in his office. And he started asking people, he said, hey, Mary, how have you been doing since you've been getting adjusted? She said, oh, I don't have headaches anymore. And then he started pointing out all of these different people in his office. And down his hallway, he had all these testimonies of these people. And he was walking me down to take an x-ray of my neck and to figure out why I had all these headaches. And as we were walking down there, he just started saying, Kevin, the same power that has healed every single one of these people is the same power that's inside of you. And he said, the only thing that's ever going to heal you is the power that's inside of you. And if I can find out where that power is being interfered, why it can't get through to the rest of your body that's creating these headaches, you're going to be well. And he looked at me, he stopped right here before we went into the x-ray room, and he said, I'm very confident that we can find this, because there's not been one person that's had headaches that I've not been able to help. So he walks in there, he takes an x-ray, and he invites us back. He invites my parents back to learn about these x-rays. Mind you, all the other doctors that we went to, I had lots of MRIs, I had lots of x-rays. Not one of the doctors ever sat down and explained to my parents what a normal x-ray looked like, what an abnormal x-ray looked like, that there was something wrong with my spine. They always said, we don't see anything, everything looks good. So that day was the second day that changed my life, because I received my very first adjustment. And it sounded like a shotgun going off in my neck. It actually hurts a little bit, but it was the first day of my life where I ever felt like I was actually clear, like I actually felt like I was connected, like there was something inside of me that was vastly different. I had a tear come out of my eye, and my dad was a little ticked off because he said, what the hell was that? Because he was a little nervous. And I just told him, I said, Dad, that was amazing. And my dad then proceeded to pay for my care to start chiropractic with his chiropractor. Little did I know, my mom started, my dad started, my brother started. And it was 3 months after, when I was driving the car after I don't know how many adjustments I had, and I looked at my dad straight in the eyes and I said, hey Dad, you know all the suffering that I've gone through, you know all the hurt and the pain that I went through is just because God created me to be a chiropractor. And you know, a lot of people would pray that they don't have suffering, or that they don't have those things. But for me, it's that place where I got to be connected with what it's like to not experience health, what it's not to live and be full of this innate expression, to know that my body is capable to heal, that no matter what it's going through, that it has the ability to heal and overcome any situation, as long as you give it time and you give it the right things and you remove interference. And my dad looked at me and said, I think that would be awesome. And now let's fast forward like 20 years. I meet my wife, and then my wife begins to tell me, or my girlfriend at the time tells me, you know, I have this thyroid problem, I have Graves' disease, and I have to get my thyroid taken out, or they're going to give me these pills and they're going to radiate it and kill my thyroid. And I looked her in the eyes in chiropractic school, and I said, hey, did you know, have you ever had the nerves check your thyroid to see if they're healing, or if there's something going on with your spine? She said no. And I think she went along with actually getting her spine checked because she liked me, because she actually thought chiropractors were quacks and she didn't really know anything about them. But I think she just wanted to impress me. But the cool thing about chiropractic is you don't need to impress anyone. It doesn't need to impress anyone. It's like gravity. It's like keys. Or if I drop the mic, it's gonna fall. It's like physics. They're laws. It doesn't matter what you believe. It just is. It's a law. It's always there. So she started getting adjusted. We started finding things in her lifestyle that were incongruent with some of the hormone things. We started getting her on some good nutrition because she didn't grow up that way. And lo and behold, instead of having her thyroid removed or radiated or having toxic pills, she still has a normal functioning thyroid, and it's never become abnormal again. She's never had problems with it. I have 4 kids. And so if we fast forward a little bit more, is my kids have never set foot into a hospital, into a medical doctor's office, not because we don't believe in them or not because we don't like them. It's because we live a lifestyle that honors the power inside of someone, which says, if you have a headache, or if you have a fever, or if your ankle hurts, or if you break your arm, that there is a power and intelligence inside of you that runs and controls you and is doing the right thing, that I don't need to interfere with you. I just need to allow that innate intelligence that Dr. Tim so eloquently spoke about, that it heals and transforms and does the right thing every single day. And so that's been my life, is my story. And I love going in and just telling people this amazing story about this intelligence that's inside of them. Because as the doctor, people say, Dr. Kevin, thank you for helping me. I said, I didn't do anything. The only thing I did was remove the power, or remove the interference from the power being expressed inside of you. And so when every single new patient that comes into, or every person that I meet, is I say, I want you to know that all the miracles that happen in my office is that the miracle that you want, you brought with you. That I don't have any special tools, I don't have anything special, except for that you're here, and if you allow yourself to go through this process, your body is going to heal. And it's just the most amazing thing to see that with every single person, and then watching my kids have a completely different experience in life. That they know that they can achieve anything, that there's nothing that their body can't heal from, that they're not afraid of a virus, they're not afraid of a fever, they're not afraid of a bacteria, they're not afraid to shake people's hands, they're not afraid to give people hugs, they're not afraid of it, they're not afraid of those things. Because we understand that the power inside of us is greater than what is outside of us and what the people outside of us are trying to tell us. And so I think it's kind of cool that my experience in going to medical doctors or going into medicine was that it was an experience that taught me, who are you going to trust? Who are you going to trust? Are you going to trust the intelligence that wrote every single one of the ology books, and that is the best cardiologist, the best oncologist, the best nephrologist, the best medical doctor, the best chiropractor is inside of someone? And that power knows exactly what you need and was there before the books were even read, and before the books were even written. Or are you going to say that this doctor told me this because science says this, when I don't think that that's the true nature, or that's really the truth? Because the body doesn't do anything to harm us, it does everything to help us. And so instead of interfering, and instead of putting lies, or instead of telling someone that they're broken and that they can't heal, why don't we start telling people that you can heal and that your body can do this? Let's look at your lifestyle. Let's look at the choices that you're making that brought you to this point that unfortunately has created sickness or disease in your body. And then let's start removing the interference. And the best part about this whole story is my dad in February was rushed to the hospital because his blood sugar had spiked, and it finally caught up with him. He thought he was doing an amazing job with his nutrition and his diet, but it was more like he thought he was doing better than he actually was, because he wasn't taking he wasn't taking very good care of himself. So he gets rushed to the hospital. They find out his blood sugar is through the roof. Thank God we had doctors there. But there was a point in time when his heart started to race, and they rushed him to the cardiology ward, and they did these tests, and they said, your dad needs to have open heart surgery, and we need to do this right away. And there was something inside of me that said that this doesn't make sense. Something is not right here. And so I questioned the doctors, and I just said, I don't think this is right. He said, your dad has a blockage in the artery, and it's 46% blocked. I said, well, that means it's less of it is blocked, or more of it's not blocked. And I said, I don't think we're going to go down this path. I need you to help him get out of the hospital so that we can go get a second opinion. Well, I want to tell you now that the same principles that my family and I use, my dad no longer has any of those problems. That literally heart disease and diabetes reversed in a matter of months, but yet people live with these diseases for their whole life. And the difference between my dad and the rest of the world is he just made a choice, and he had an understanding, and he believed that the power that is inside of him is stronger than any medication or pill or surgery that they could do to him. And one of the most amazing talks that I had with my dad is I said, Dad, it's your choice. I said, whatever you choose to do, your body is gonna have to heal. If they cut your chest open and they crack your ribs open and they do this, do you understand that the next few months or years, your body is going to have to heal? Or I said, or you can allow your body to heal and do exactly what it wants, giving it what it wants.
Yes.
And that's the message that I want everyone here to understand and everyone to get, is that listen to the innate wisdom inside of you and do the things to remove the interferences and make different choices. You don't have to settle on what your doctor says, because that doesn't mean it's the truth. It might be his truth, it might be his training, but it doesn't mean that that's what you have to have. And I want to free you from that, because it freed my life and it's given my family a different perspective, and it's given so many other families that I get to be a part of. Dr. Joe, Dr. Tim, what we see in health is different than what the world sees. And this event here today is about getting the message out so that more people can understand that. So, thank you.
All right. Amen. Give him a hand, give him a hand. Give me a second here.
Dr. Joe doesn't get a
No.
introduction.
It's all right.
Introduction.
I just need to get that clipped on.
Joe can't do this in sweat and talk.
And chew gum.
There you go.
All right. Very good. All right. Everybody give Dr. Kevin a big hand again. All right. Are we having fun so far? Are we good? Can y'all hear me okay? Just want to give a shout out to two powerhouse doctors, Dr. Zach, Dr. Leanne from Denver. Everybody give a wave to them. Yay, thanks for coming and supporting us here. So now it's my turn.
Yeah.
And I've been in practice in Northland here since 1992, and boy, do I have a lot to get off my chest. And so, for the last 100 years, would you say our world is continuing to look healthier and stronger and more vibrant, like God promises in the Bible? Or something's way incongruent with what we're told on Sundays and what we're told? You know, we see more gyms and more churches and more vitamin stores, and we see more Walgreens, we see more opportunities to get healthy. And yet, over the last 100 years, what's happened? You know what I'm saying? And there's a disconnect somewhere. There's an incongruency somewhere. There's a, if you would, there's a kink in the hose somewhere. See, here's real simple. You know, back in, chiropractic's been around since 1895, what you see today. And I wish I could say that every chiropractor is the same, but I can't. I wish I could say every church is the same, but I can't. I wish I could say, you know, that every gym is the same, but I can't. I wish there's only just a handful of vitamins you needed, yet when you walk into a vitamin store, there's all kinds there. And so it's the key when we talk about chiropractic is the principled kingdom, if you would, chiropractor, that believes that the body needs no help healing, just no interference. The things that we teach, like Dr. Kevin said, the laws of gravity, that the body heals from above, from God, down, and then from the inside out. And again, this is ancient wisdom. It's been around for thousands of years. What we use every day in our practice, the things that Dr. Tim and Dr. Kevin were talking about, is ancient wisdom. It hasn't been around for 100 years. It's been around for thousands of years. And that's what we're using. And it stood the test of time for thousands of years. Or if, let's say since hundreds of years. Some of you may not, I wasn't around back then. Some of you might have been. There was a Spanish flu epidemic back in 1918. And the whole world was losing their mind. And there's even more people dying back then than there was today. And yet something profound happened during that Spanish flu. If I got the Spanish flu and I walked into the medical expert and was looking for a pill or a potion or surgery or something to save me, that 1 out of 15 patients would die of the Spanish flu. But when someone got the Spanish flu And back in 1918, they went and got their spine adjusted. Only 1 in 789 would die. And as time went on, the people getting chiropractic care were living, and those who weren't getting chiropractic care were dying. So the government and the officials looked and said, there's something going on here. We should start getting people to see the chiropractors, because there's something happening in this body when they get adjusted. And that's, again, the same reason why we went to Zimbabwe. People were dying. The life expectancy was in the late 20s. People dying of AIDS. And they said, could you please come and just help less people die? So fast forward this now over the last 100 years, it's become very profitable to keep you and manage your disease process versus getting you healthy and well. Does that make sense? So think of it this way. God made our bodies to be healthy, just like He made grass, right? What color is healthy grass? Green, right? So if my yard is green, that means it's healthy. That's how God designed it. That's how it's supposed to be. But if something happens with the way I take care of my yard and the hose gets kinked, then the amount of water going to my yard begins to get shut down. Does that make sense? So something gets blocked, just like Kevin talked about, Dr. Tim talked about, and now the grass goes from green grass now to brown grass. Now, the brown grass is a warning. It's not a sign to go and add more fertilizer or more. It's a sign to find out where the blockage is. Because if I don't find the blockage, then the grass is going to go from green to brown to what? To dead grass. The solution is so simple, isn't it? If you want green grass, look for the blockage, take the kink off the hose, turn the water back on, and what will your brown grass do? Green. Every single time. This is a universal law for everyone on this planet to benefit from and to live based on. That's why again, we're not weirdos, wackos, where we're a little crazy. But again, we apply this. We look at our bodies and our families as green grass. We look for the kinks. And again, what can kink your hose? Being stressed out. Are more people more stressed out now than they were a year ago, 6 months ago? Yeah. Okay, stinking thinking, stress, right? Toxins. Are we hoping for a vaccine to save us? Is that toxic? Yes. Are we hoping for a magic medication, hydroxyubiquitone, how they say that? That's still a medication. It still has a toxic effect on the body. Is there a magic surgery to have? We're still looking for ways to medicate, vaccinate, and do surgery to somehow make us green grass, and it doesn't. The United States of America is 6% of the world's population, and yet we take over 70% of all the medication made in the world. If the way to being healthy and preventing COVID and being strong is more medication, then we should be healthier than Sweden. But we're not. And so am I surprised at what the last 6 months have looked like? No. I've been telling people for almost 30 years that we live in a brown grass, dead grass country. That what we call health care is really sick care. And again, if you hurt yourself and you have an emergency, then please go to the emergency room, let them put you back together, whatever they need to do, like Dr. Kevin said with his dad. But if you want to be healthy and strong, health does not come from a bottle of pills. Health is not found in a syringe for a vaccine. Ever since the 1700s, when Jenner invented the smallpox vaccines, we've been trying to pull this off, and it's not working. Look at society. We're sicker and we're more feared now than ever before. Because our focus is on treating the brown grass, treating the dead grass, and forgetting that we're made by God to be green grass. So the point of today is simply to remind you that there's hope. Everybody say there's hope. That you don't have to have fear. When you cut your finger, it heals all by itself. Right now your heart is beating all by itself. Right now you're breathing, and that brain and nerve system we've talked about all morning is doing all that for you. And it needs no help. There just can't be any interference. So doctors of chiropractic are doctors of interference. We know God made you to be strong. We know God doesn't make junk. And when you walk into our offices and we simply look for this on your nerve system, we look for this in your stinking thinking, we look for this in your lifestyle, And our job is simply to help you take things from our world, apply it to your world to make it better, not worse. Every time you step into a chiropractor's office, your world should be getting better, not worse. And so that's what I really want to wrap this up with. That someday, I hope, 100 years from now, my grandchildren are watching this. And right now, each of us have a world that we're living in right now. And the question is, how is your bubble? How is your world working out for you right now? Are you happy? Are you vibrant? Are you encouraged? Are you excited about the future? Are you looking forward to tomorrow? Or are you freaked out and worried about what's going to happen in November? What's going to happen next year? Are the Broncos going to have a winning season or not? I mean, everybody's freaked out about all kinds of stuff. But my point is that what can you do today to make sure tomorrow's better? What can you do today to make sure green grass is coming tomorrow? So what I want you to understand is that what we're talking about is there's a whole different world out there than what you see on Facebook and TV. There's a whole world where these chiropractic offices you see are thriving right now because they're getting sick people well. The same reason why 1 in 789 people died under chiropractic care from the Spanish flu versus 1 in 15 died under medical care, those bugs haven't changed in the last 100 years. Those same principles of microbiology, neuroimmunology, and host health are still working today to your advantage. The problem is, though, there's more to be profited off of you living a brown grass, dead grass life than you living a green grass life. Because if you're healthy and strong, then you don't have a need for medication in non-emergency situations. You don't have a need for surgery. You don't have a need for vaccine because you're healthy and strong. So all these buildings we see, then, well, that's all they do. We're taking their business away. So when I say that chiropractic has been disrespected and censored since 1895, it's just as much a business decision that it is a health decision. And we're here today to say enough is enough with the lies. Enough is enough. Everybody say enough is enough. That God made you to be strong. God made you to be healthy. He made you to be green grass. And He needs no help, just no interference. So it's time to start believing we are who God says we are. And again, this is not a religious thing, a church thing. This is simply saying you're either going to believe what they say you are, you're broken, you're junk, and you're brown grass and dead grass, or our world says you're strong and you're healthy. Like Dr. Kevin, Dr. Tim said, the miracle is inside you, and it needs no help. We just got to let it come out, right? So also today, what story do you want for your children? What kind of world do you want for your children? What kind of world do we want for our grandchildren? And again, it's not their job to do it. It's not Washington's job to do it. It's our job individually to take responsibility to say, I'm going to have a green grass mind. I'm going to have a green grass body. I'm going to stay connected to God and be in a good mood no matter what I see, no matter what happens. And for any of you out there whose world is really messed up and turned upside down, because again, it's not your fault, you've been lied to. You've been told, oh, there's no way your body can heal. Here, have a vaccine. There's no way your body can heal. Here's a medication. There's no way that organ can recover. Here, take it out. You've been taught that. And you've been asked to pay for that. And statistically, that system is not working. 100 years ago, if we could have got our act together and got everybody adjusted and taught the world, then right now all the governments was telling you to get to the local chiropractor and get adjusted, not put on a mask. It's just a matter of what you learn in your education. So if your world is not what you want it to be, find a good chiropractor and start getting adjusted. We're not asking you got to be crazy and stand on stage like this. But if your world's not what you want it to be, maybe there's a few things you can take from us and apply it to your world. A healthy spine and nerve system. How to exercise in a way that works. How to eat real food. How to clear your mind and have good thoughts. And how to protect. Again, we're all excited right now, but guess what? Monday morning's coming. And if you feel good right now, you're going to have to protect that because there's a force out there that wants to steal that from you. And so your mind has to be sharp. Your spine has to be strong. That's why we're SpineGeek Nation. Your food clean, your movement strong, and then protect your family, protect your mind, protect your well-being every day as if your life depends upon it, because it does. I love you all. Thanks for coming. Give yourself a hand. God bless you.
1 second.
Okay.
Hold on.
What? All right.
I had to do this spontaneously because I knew Dr. Joe would probably not comply to this, but yeah, I think that as we are here today and we're talking about your stories, as we have the opportunity come Monday, come tomorrow, to take and remember the truth. But remembering means to stop and to bring back to your mind the truths that you just heard. Because what are we going to hear if we turn on Facebook? Or if we turn on the television? It's going to be a contrary truth. It's going to be a lie. But it comes back to, what are we going to honor? And so we need to recognize and honor that innate healing capacity that's in our body. I want to take a moment right now, as we're kind of in this season of remembering. 2 days ago, 9/11, we remembered, right? Why do we remember? So we can honor those who have done great things, so that we can remember the hope that we have as we come together. We're remembering today the history of chiropractic. Dr. Joe talked about 1895, chiropractic got its birth. Interestingly enough, it got its birth on September 18th, 1895. You may not know this, September 18th, probably not 1895, is Dr. Joe's birthday. He's our own chiropractic doodle dandy. And so I want him to come up here and we want to honor him. I want you guys to honor Dr. Joe. Nobody's got a bigger heart to serve people than Dr. Joe. And I want us to honor him, to recognize him. And, you know, he's one of these guys that never stops working. But for us to remember, we need to pause and reflect. So happy birthday, Dr. Joe. Here's a really good sipping tequila that's going to require you to pause and reflect and know that we honor you, we love you, and that you're making a difference.
Amen.
God
Thank
bless you.
God bless you guys.
Thank
Have a good day. Tastings will start in about, no.